Hey, so I want to start first. As I think we tell a lot of our fans, okay, guys are going to go play in Europe, and people have like a general knowledge of how that might work. But you were with a different club last year. You were with a new club this year in a different country. Just tell us, how does that process work? How do you move from one club to another? How do you let people know you're going to move and where you go and that sort of thing?
Yeah, well, specifically for the U.S. guys, we're very lucky that Dayon, our coach, has connections all over Europe. So he's one of those advocates for us going abroad and finding places for us to play. But I personally got connected with a club 2 years ago in Europe, an Italian club. I played in Italy 2 years ago. Was a former UCLA Bruin I played with in college, was playing in the professional league in Italy. He was an Italian guy and told one of the teams about me, and they sent me an offer. And then once you play over there, people start to know who you are and if you build a name for yourself. So I played in Italy 2 years ago, and then in Spain last year, and then this year actually, two former USA team guys had a connection with the coach of my current team, and he was looking for a center, and they reached out to me and threw my name in there. So a lot of it's word of mouth, but we're lucky that a lot of our connections kind of pave that way.
And tell us about your club in Greece now and how that's going and how you've been adapting to this brand new team.
Yeah, actually, things couldn't be better. I'm really happy with the situation. So I play for GS Peristeri. The executives of the team, the president of the team, is the same as their basketball team. So they have a very famous and good basketball club, and the same people are in charge of the water polo team. Yeah, things are going great. It's been very easy to acclimate to here, and it's just good to be in the water. We were out of the water for so long back in the States during quarantine and everything. It's just, especially now that games have started, I'm very happy to be back playing water polo.
Yeah, how much did you miss just getting up and down and actually playing a game?
I missed it so much, and you don't realize it until you're out of it for a while. It was the longest time I was out of the water since I began playing when I was 9 or 10 years old, which is crazy to think about.
So when you go to a place like Spain or Italy or Greece, I think people maybe think of it from like a tourist point of view, but you're going to live there, you're going to have an apartment, you're going to be traveling around. What's the kind of the cultural immersion? Do you have to try and learn a bunch of Greek terms? Can everyone kind of understand water polo language? How do you get kind of involved with your teammates so that you can kind of be a part of day-to-day life?
Yeah, here it's been a little bit easier because I've found that most, if not all, the people I interact with speak very good English. When I was in Italy and Spain, it was a little different. When I initially got there, I actually played in Sicily when I was in Italy, so not a lot of the people that I was on the team with or around the area spoke English. I think the most important thing is to make the effort, and I think people really appreciate it. I think a lot of we get that ignorant American reputation. So if you go and you just try, you want other people to know English when you're in their environment, it doesn't look well. But when you make that effort, people really try to help you and appreciate it. So I've tried to do the exact same thing in all three of those locations. But I think the water polo words are the first ones you need to learn, like what is man up, man down, and then what system they have. Obviously, it's important to learn numbers when you're on 6-on-5. You can know what the play is that we're doing. So, yeah, just that effort, and it's not so bad. And especially when you have a great team and a great coach, they're going to put you in a position to be successful, and they want you to be good for the team. So that helps a lot.
Matt gives us an important travel tip, whether you're playing water polo or not. If you're going to another country, attempt to know or try the native language. It will endear you to the people who live there, and they'll appreciate the effort for sure. What's the play like in comparison? If people saw you play at UCLA or they saw you play with Team USA, is it a very different style? How would you describe it?
Yeah, I think it's very different. This is something that it was a kind of tough transition for me coming from college, especially at UCLA. We had a very defined system where everyone's roles were basically on paper, and it was something you did to the best of your ability, and it simplified the game, and I really like that. Since I've been in Europe and even with the national team, a lot of the times now you really have to rely on your feel for the game, your intelligence, your instincts, and playing one-on-one is a bigger part of the game over here. And that's something I'm still adapting to, but I think I'm doing a better job as time goes on.
And you've been playing in Europe for a couple of years, but this year there are so many of your USA teammates in Europe, a ton in Greece. How often are you seeing guys from other clubs? Give us a sense of geography, like who are you close to, who's kind of far away, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so most of the teams are in Athens. We have two guys that are on islands, or three guys. Bennett Williams is in Crete, and then we have Drew Holland and Tommy Gruel on another island, Chios. And the rest of the guys are in the Athens area. I'm probably the farthest away from the group. I'm in northern Athens, so I'm probably 40 minutes away from where Glyfada and Vulagmeni are, which is where Bowen and most of those teams are. But we're all close enough where we get together on weekends. For example, last weekend, just an hour south of Athens, there's this Temple of Poseidon on a mountain, and 5 or 6 of us drove there and had an ocean swim, and it was great. It feels like home. This is definitely the least homesick I've been since being in Europe, and I think such a big part of it is just being, my best friends are here in Greece with me. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's interesting you brought that up, because one of the questions we just got was, well, how do you try and make friends, and do you miss your family and all that sort of stuff? But it sounds like in the 3 years you've done this has been kind of the easiest transition.
Yeah, definitely. This has been the easiest transition because all those U.S. guys were here. Like I said, when I was in Italy, there was no one around me that I knew for a long while. So your teammates are always going to be a source of stability for you, because those are guys you go to battle with in the water and you need to build relationships with. So, you find common ground even when there's no language. I remember I wore a T-shirt of a show I was watching in Italy, and we weren't speaking the same language yet, but I have a couple guys go, "Hey, I know that show," and hey, like that. So you find ways. It's not so hard. I think the first couple weeks is always a little difficult, but once you establish yourself, things it's different, but it's great.
We're talking about Matt Farmer here from the men's national team, also playing professionally in Greece right now. Because there's so many guys in Europe, Team USA planning training camps abroad, guys looking to get together in Greece and other areas in Europe over the next couple of months. Given all that's gone on with the pandemic and the inability to play in the U.S., how much do you think this will help the team for so many guys to be getting high-level competition?
I mean, it means everything to us moving forward, and that was the idea that Dayon, our coach, had, that even if we weren't going to be able to train together so much, that anyway we're in the rhythm of playing games, especially high-level games in a professional league, we had to take advantage of that opportunity. So moving forward, we're all going to be in good shape and do as much as we can to be ready for this summer.
There are a lot of athletes that are home in the U.S. watching, and they haven't gotten a chance to play a game in a while, or maybe they're just getting back to it. When you finally got back to playing, what was the thing that you felt like you were missing the most from all the downtime? Like, was there a skill that you felt like, oh, my legs aren't there, or this isn't there? What was the thing you had to work on, you felt like, to get back to the Matt Farmer of old before the pandemic?
Yeah, I think there's really no replacement for doing legs in the water. I think that's the biggest difference. Swimming, you get back pretty fast. Us as Americans are very used to putting in a lot of yards, so that comes naturally to a lot of us. But yeah, legs took the longest to get in, but really the transition wasn't as difficult as I thought it would be with your at-home workouts or whatever you have available. We all stayed in good shape, so it wasn't too bad when we end up getting back.
So this is your third season now abroad, and when you first went over there, this is before you had really joined the national team. You kind of just went and wanted to play that professional club style. How much did doing that, do you think, make you better as a player and help you get where you're at now with Team USA?
I mean, it was completely, it helped so much. There were so many things that were different about the international game that I had no idea, because even in college, I didn't train with the national team. I was just so focused on being what I could be for UCLA. And then I didn't even really think about the national team until I got that opportunity to go to Italy and play abroad, and wanted to get, give it a shot. So specifically, that one-on-one game, having to have total awareness of what's going on at all times, because things are less predictable. Teams less have systems, more have great players who are going to make plays by themselves. And especially, 6-on-5, just reading defenses versus having a scheme. But it helped immensely, and I think I still have a lot of room to grow in that regard.
Do you think you picked up any specific moves, things you saw in certain leagues or teams where it was something that you tried to add to your arsenal that you didn't have in the past?
Definitely. Yeah, I think it always helps. I mean, we're really lucky in the U.S. in so many sports. We get to watch the best professionals in the world. If you've been watching the NBA recently, if you're growing up as a kid playing basketball, you can just see those great players your whole life. And growing up, I didn't even know there was professional water polo until I was in college almost. And now that I've been had the opportunity to watch great players and great centers, I try to steal as much from them as I can, and I think that's a great way to develop your game in whatever sport you're playing.
A couple of questions have come in here from some fans watching. You hit on legs. Carlo asks, what's a good way to gain more leg strength?
Gaining more leg strength when you're in the water. Like I said, there's really no replacement for being out of the water. But when you're in the water, using the long bands, I'm sure your coaches are doing a good job. But weight belts are always a good way. Pushing as much as you can with teammates. Those are going to be helpful, and just focusing on your legs in whatever you're doing. When you're passing, you should be focusing on your leg strength and staying as high as you can. I don't know. I'm might not be the best person in the world to ask about it. Max Irving might have the best legs in Europe right now, so he might be a good go-to guy.
As a center, Garcia asked a question here. Any tips for delivering a good backhand shot?
Backhands have been something in my game that's been in and out, but I think it's just the choice of when you're going to throw a backhand and when you're not. When you're in a zone, it's a great time to take a backhand. I like to get my whole arm wrapped around it. Some people, a lot of centers in Europe, prefer to just go palm on the ball and throw it back, but whatever works for you, depending on your hand size. But if you have space, I prefer to turn around and look at the goal and shoot. But during a zone, sometimes you don't have that opportunity. So I think it's just pick and choosing your time to throw a backhand is the most important.
Danny asked, how did you stay in shape at home or when you were out of the pool, during that time away during the pandemic?
So there was I was actually very lucky. I was in a more unique situation. I was in Chicago during the pandemic. So within a month or a month and a half, my local pool actually opened up. So I was able to get swim workouts. When we were only out of the water, the USA national team had us doing workouts. A lot of it involved bilateral movements, like one-legged squats, a lot of explosive movement, jumping and explosive push-ups, things like that. Band work is really important. No matter if you're in or out of the water, I think it's important to keep your shoulders and your hips healthy. So anything you can do to activate your rotator cuffs and activate your glutes is going to be always important.
Tell us a little bit about the goals for your club team this season. You mentioned it's well known in the area you're in, a good basketball program as well. Is there a certain mark you're trying to achieve to reach? I know sometimes, right, depending on how you perform, you then qualify for different levels of competition later in the season. What's the goal for your group?
Yeah, so that's the thing. The team I'm on now was in the second division last year, so this is their first year in the first division, and they've invested into wanting to stay in the first division. So that's the first goal. But we believe that we can be in the 4 to 7 range of teams. There's 2 or 3 teams that are a higher level than us. That doesn't mean we're going to roll over when we play those teams. I expect them to be competitive, and I think we have a good chance to make those games competitive. But I would say between 4 and 7 is what the club really hopes to accomplish this year.
Have you gotten a chance to play a game against any of your USA teammates on other clubs yet, or is that coming up still?
Not yet, actually. I think we have a few weeks before we play anyone on the US team. We played our first game only Saturday, and I believe that Alex Bowen's team actually played Drew Holland's team. But I don't think we match up with one of my teammates for a while now.
Is it going to be strange to kind of be in Greece, wearing different club caps, playing against the guy you've trained with for months?
Yeah, it is going to be kind of weird. I've never experienced that. Actually, my first game professionally when I was in Italy was to qualify for European Cup, and we played Max Irving's team in Greece. So that was my first game and only time I played against a teammate. But it'll be funny, especially when we match up against Chancellor Ramirez and Dylan Woodhead, because I'm going to be going head to head with both of them.
Very cool, very cool. And as we mentioned, we'll be sharing updates every week on the USA Water Polo website about Matt's schedule, what everyone else is doing, whatever we can find on Google Translate, and bring you the English knowledge off of these Greek websites. Last thing for you, Matt, because I know we both follow the NBA closely. Was the finals a big deal in Greece with Giannis knocked out and the Bucks not there? Were you able to watch games? Give us a little American sports view from Greece.
Yeah, it was a big deal. I mean, I saw more Giannis Antetokounmpo jerseys than I've ever seen in my life. They were everywhere. My coach actually every day comes to practice and goes right up to me and talks about the game the night before. He's staying up till 4 a.m. to watch these games. I was having to train, so I couldn't stay up and watch the games. But every time we had a chance, actually, there was only one game so far that was on in Greece at night where we could actually watch it. And every USA guy in Athens, we all went to like a Buffalo Wild Wings ripoff and watched the game and ate wings. So it was a good night for us, but it's definitely huge here.
So you are aware the Lakers have won the title.
Yes, definitely aware. Congrats to Lakers and all the Laker fans. Most of my friends in California are Lakers fans, so everyone's pretty happy, I think.
But now, are you a Bulls guy being from the Midwest, or what's your team?
Yeah, I would say I'm a Bulls guy. I didn't have sports on the TV so much growing up as a kid, and by the time I was watching a lot of sports, I was already in LA. So
Sure.
I have some love for the Lakers. I would definitely say I'm a Bulls fan, though.
All right, I'm not trying to get you in trouble back home or anything. So, Matt, really appreciate taking the time here. I know it's a busy schedule over there. Good luck with the team and the rest of the season.
All right, appreciate it, Greg. Have a good one. Thanks for
All right,
talking.
take care.
All right, take care. Bye.